We had a bit of an introduction into the object-oriented programming model, and before we go back to Pong to apply those concepts there, I want to get some more practice and learn a little bit more about classes and objects. Okay, so we can come here to PyCharm, we can right click and say File New, Python file, and I'm going to call this point. So here is my point file, and what I want to do here is use a class that everybody is familiar with, right? And so in math we learn about points and lines and drawing them on a graph, right? And a point class is a great way to introduce or to explore the idea of classes and objects, because again, what is an object? It is a set of variables. What is a point? It is a set of variables, right? What is a point? What is a point? Well, if we draw it on an XY coordinate system and the point is existing in two-dimensional space, that means x-axis, y-axis, and that's it, then a point has two variables. It has an x and it has a y. Right? And so here in my class point, I'm going to start by writing my constructor. I'm going to say init underscore underscore self. And what are my instance variables? Self.x equals something, and self.y equals something, right? And of course you can name these parameters whatever you want, but I always do init x, init y. Stands for initial x, initial y, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Take in the parameters, and I'm going to come down here. I'm going to make a main function, right? Function call, and then I make my main function definition, and in here I want to make my point object, right? So I'm going to say p is equal to, how do I make an object of class point? Well, it's really simple, right? You capital P, name of the class, two parentheses, and you give it the arguments that it wants. Right? What are the arguments it wants? We look up here at the constructor. We ignore self because self is the object that is being created. Right? These are the arguments that it wants. It wants two values, an x and a y. And it's going to use those two values to initialize the x instance variable of the object and the y instance variable of the object. And then finally it's going to return self, and it's going to take us back here. P is going to equal our object. Okay, so what I need to do is put two values in here. Right? I want, what this is saying on the right side of the equal sign in English is go to the point class, build me a point object, set the x to 3, set the y to 5, and bring it back. That's what that's saying. Go build me one and bring it back. And when it brings it back, it's going to be saved right here in my p variable. Right? And let's go ahead and see if it works. Right? How can we see if it works? We're going to print p.x. I'll go ahead and right click and run point, and it prints out the 3. Great. I can change that to y, print it out, it prints out the 5. Alright, great. So I have my object, it's in the p variable, and that p variable has an x and it has a y. The x is equal to 3 and the y is equal to 5. Alright, I can check that by printing it out. Now I want you to go ahead and do that, and then we'll continue in the next video.